Alright, so today we are jumping into the Amelia Quincy Guild Quest once more to tackle the extra level 4. And this is one of the more fun weeks out there because we get to use such a powerful and cool unit, which of course is FULLBRING Bankai ICHIGO. The Ichigo that versed you in episode 7, one of the best characters in the entire game. And I'm excited to try him out once more. Speaking about being excited, if you haven't already seen it just yet, earlier today we did upload early access footage of true Shikai Ichigo in Rebirth of Souls. Super fun character to play with, so apparently today is just an Ichigo day. Now the way this team is set up, for those that are wondering, it's strictly here to boost Ichigo's damage output. Tanjiro and also Zangetsu are not here to deal damage themselves, they are here just to boost Ichigo's damage output, and that's the general idea of when you are using a character as good as Ichigo. Because he's so good, boosting his damage output gives you less reason to use any side normal attack damage character, or an additional strong attack damage character. You know, this guild quest phase, for example, has access to some good normal attack damage units. Ruroka is a team booster. Grimmjow also works too, and you can make a very easy team with Ichigo, Grimmjow, and also Ruroka, and probably clear super safe. But if you're trying to go for like the highest of highest scores, it's not really worth bringing them because they aren't really doing much. Ichigo will pretty much be soloing it by himself even with these units, and that way you're just better off buffing Ichigo's damage output. So the way we are going to do that is by using Zangetsu. Now Zangetsu is here strictly for this skill here. Team Party Boost increase Heart Attribute Soripa's strong attack damage by 20%. And with that, because it is specifically boosting Heart Attribute Soul Reapers, it does stack with Mugetsu's soul trait, 20% strong attack damage to your entire team. So with that, this character is replaced by any character that is boosting Heart Attribute Soul Reapers in particular, or just Soul Reaper characters. For example, Kanfu or Kisuke could also be used in this slot. The third character is going to be Tanjiro, of course, always used whenever we can bring a Soul Reaper. Tanjiro in this case has an SA2 team boost, providing a 43% attack focus increase, while also increasing the amount of damage that we do to enemies that are inflicted with a status element by 30%. So overall, 2 good team boosters, and then of course we have Ichigo. Now from what I've seen, right now we're going with this particular build. He already has like so much strong attack damage, you probably don't need to give him the strong attack damage item. But if you did want to go with like a build like this, for example, that's perfectly fine. But the thought process behind this build is that we're just going to increase his kill effect more because he has enough damage on the strong attacks. For the links, we're using a pretty stacked set of links. Chad is a free-to-play Senkaemon character, which you can easily max transcend now. And then we also have Mugetsu and Nanao from the 1000-year Blood War arc, giving 20% more damage at full stamina and also recharge. My character in particular is 3 out of 5, level 12 SP, level 12 focus, with full stamina and also damage to weakened enemies. That's basically the general team setup. You can try this out 1 out of 5 and it might work, but regardless of what you do, if you are using Ichigo, likely you're going to get a pretty fast score. So with that said, enough yap aside, let's see if we can get some good scores while also recording live, because I do have access to a good score and a good run that I have recorded, but I did it in my own time. So the idea is that you want to instantly activate your EX, because you can make the most of this 300% spiritual pressure increase. We're then going to Soul Bomb and then finish up Ryukin with the SA1. In Babieta, we SA2. Sometimes you don't kill if it doesn't affect the status limit, but you know, you ideally want to kill with 1 strong attack. Going into Candice, that's SA2. Unfortunately, 1 enemy got left behind. That's going to slow us down a tad bit. We'll keep it going. Completely missed my SA1. The run's already bad. It's over. But Ichigo is a good enough character that he can still one-shot, even without the EX boost on the final wave. And it does help us out that the final boss is a mind character, right? Going into the extra stage, again, we have Frenzy Free. He's one of the best, highest DPS characters in the game, with weakening. Plus, by the way, so we can actually get, as you'll see here, Tanjiro can inflict paralysis and actually lock the enemy in place, and then we can just inflict weakening on top of that. So they actually become significantly easier, but as long as you keep your distance, you're honestly fine. Ichigo has a lot of range. Very rarely, even though I just did it there, do you miss strong attacks. So we'll keep it going, though. Again, I'm pretty confident this team will work at 1 out of 5, just not as fast in the first 5 stages, you know? And then even if you do take time or too long, you can always activate your EX boost again once more for like the last 20 seconds and get even more time. So yeah, if you have this Ichigo, you should be good for all 4 extra levels, regardless of the attribute, regardless of the other 2 characters you are bringing your team, because Ichigo is quite literally just that character. One of the few SST units in the game, in my opinion, and that will be reflected in the tier list that we are going to update at the start of next month. If you haven't already seen it, we've done it live, so if you actually want to see the hot tier list in advance, you can go ahead and do that. But let's actually try and go for like the really good run, and it's a bit tricky to pull off, because you'll see why. So we want to EX, and then also Soul Bomb. Preferably not Flash Step because you can actually activate it faster. And you want to move a tad bit forward because there is an enemy in the far right that you do want to kill instantly. Now, this is the tricky stage where you've got a usual SA1, and it's got a one-shot E-Ban, but also at the same time, one-shot the entire wave. And that's where, if you are resetting for a good score, the run is going to end. Because it's such a tricky spot to get down, and you have to aim it perfectly and hope that all the mobs walk in to the actual SA3. And we're just messing up that SA1. Again, we're just going in just to try it. In a normal situation, I would reset the app, and we'll do a little bit of resetting to get a better score, at least in the 50 seconds. But again, near the end of the video, I will showcase a 56-second run. So let's try that again. Gonna go walk forward, flash step, or not flash step, sorry. Just walk forward, EX Soul Bomb. Bambietta, SA2. Okay, look how fast we absolutely annihilate that boss. E-Bomb, we actually took down in one shot. But again, sometimes you get some leftover mobs that ruin the run. Candice, we just SA2. Again, we one-shot there. And then Odoyu, even though it was a bad run, we one-shot and get like a 52-second clear. So even if you don't, get the perfect wave free and you have to use 2 strong attacks, I mean, 52 seconds is still good, right? If you care about your Guild Quest score. Ideally, with a team like this, you want to shoot for like 55 minimum, right? With the possibility of getting 56 if you perfect that third wave, and 57 if you're very fast. More so in regards to the soul bombing of stage 1. So again, super easy here. SA2 into the 3, and then we're SA1. To be fair, I think we showcased enough of Ichigo. I might actually try out Ishin. Might try a more traditional team. Ishin, and maybe an additional normal attack damage character like Ruroka. Get a usage out of some characters that we don't get to use all too much. But before we do that, again, this is a 52-second run. Pretty decent. But now let's actually quickly showcase the 56-second run that I did actually get. So let's break down the 56-second run. For full clarity, by the way, it took me like 20 minutes to get this score. So like I said, you're going to start off the run walking forward in Soul Bomb. And my problem right here, for those that are wondering, and how you can potentially get 57, you have to really like Soul Bomb by this point. See, I'm using the EX as 69.5. This is honestly where you actually save a lot of time to get that 57 run. I keep in mind for this part of the video, we are getting really sweaty with the strat here, but I Soul Bomb at 69.2. You want to Soul Bomb a lot faster, 69.7, 69.8, if possible, and also, again, take out the entire wave. If you could just EX and Soul Bomb from the jump, that would be a lot more efficient, but you can't because one enemy will be left alive with the way the enemies are positioned. So right now, for me, that's my biggest struggle, because the rest of the run is basically flawless, because we SA1, take down the first boss, Ryuken. Bambietta goes down in an SA2. Again, this is where you want to stand, and you want to shoot the SA1 upwards. Maybe I could have activated the SA1 faster, maybe like a few milliseconds, right? And then you'll see it does take out most of the waves, because fortunately, all the enemies just walked into us. And that's how you get the third wave done. Wave 4 is pretty much simple. You SA3, and then the final boss, you SA2. With the superior strong attack, takes him down super quick. So let's rewind that once more, and just get a much better example without me pausing it in between. So, EX, Soul Bomb, SA1 into the SA2. Nicely done. Perfect wave 3, SA1. Wave 4, you SA3. And then final wave, you just hit him with the SA2. So again, I could save time on the first wave, but the reset heavy part is wave 3. Trying to take down an entire wave with one strong attack beam doesn't always go your way. And you also need to get a status proc on E-Ban, because you don't kill in one strong attack if you do not inflict a status on it. So that's where it gets a bit reset heavy. But I'm quite happy, honestly, with the 56-second click time that we did get. Ichigo right now is just an absolute beast. He's going to be a beast, and very similar in a way to more so Kinpachi than Gremmy. But this character is just one of those units that is so good, we just do not need any melee Quincy killers for a very long time, because by default, they're going to be in competition with this character. The thing is, Gremmy can only get like 55 seconds, whereas Ichigo and Kinpachi, thanks to the EX skill they do have, allows them to get upwards to 57 seconds if possible. So whatever unit does come out that is potentially in the future trying to replace them, they have to be significantly more impressive. I wouldn't be surprised if the only way this character is going to get suppressed or eventually, let's say, replaced, is they have to add a whole new extra level. And also a whole new difficulty, because that character is that good. And even then, from what we have seen with Guild Quest characters like this, with Ichigo in particular, even Kinpachi, is that if we ever do get a new character that is somehow better than this unit, Ichigo will just become an additional side unit, especially with the fact that he can inflict weakening plus. If the main character, the supposed replacement, which again isn't going to happen for a very long time, we're talking about a hypothetical future, if they don't inflict weakening, it's going to be even better because it will allow Ichigo to become a really good side. So the main point I'm saying here with this character, you just have a lot of longevity with this unit in and outside of guild quests. So I guess before we wrap up the video, let's just show a more traditional team for those that maybe don't even have Ichigo for some reason. I know it's a gacha game, not everyone's going to have every character, but I feel like there are some characters everyone should be saving for before we even know of them coming out, for example. Like every end of year banner, every anniversary banner should be something that both pay-to-play players and free-to-play players should be saving their orbs for. Because you just know it's going to be an exciting character and one of the best characters released of the year. But let's say you don't have Ichigo, at least right now. Of course, you also can use Isshin. Now, Isshin is going to be built the exact same way. A similar enough build, right? Again, this basically works. I'm going to go with these 3 soul traits. Now, my Isshin, keep in mind, is max transcended, special move level 5, but I have gone ahead and removed some of the transcendent slots to at least reflect a special move level 1 Isshin when it comes to the strong attack damage. My Sublime still might hit a tad bit hard, but you go with that. With that in mind, go with full stamina damage, and then you can do damage to the lash rate to the enemies. For Ruroka, just go with standard normal attack damage builds. Ideally, if you can, use the heavy bag with 30 attack. I just right now don't want to reroll it. So I'm just going to use a normal chappy. But again, this works, or the heavy bag works. Go with full normal attack damage, as much normal attack damage as possible. Level 10 attack, special level 1, and then go full stamina and damage to the last rate 2, assuming you are using her with Isshin. And then again, if you can, bring this character here. Same reason, team boost and also 30% more damage. And also cells of the team booster. And if you want the team boost to recharge more consistently, then you can give the character recharge links. But we're just going to make sure we just at the very least have Mugetsu put on. Now, Isshin doesn't have poise break, but you'll notice that it doesn't really matter with this character since he does actually have increased talisman chance. But then again, his increased talisman chance is only against heart enemies, so you have to be a bit careful when the enemies first spawn in. But you know, with the Frenzy 2 and the fact that he does have a tracking vortex, you should be relatively fine. Once you do inflict the lacerate, the enemies themselves will stop using strong attacks. And that means you can just basically do free damage to them without worrying about you taking damage. And again, the vortex will keep them company. And then a character like Ruroka will be able to do some pretty good normal attack damage. That's when she starts to shine a bit more. She's a character that you don't really get the use of unless you have Ichigo. But even then, to be fair, if you have Ichigo, you can still do that. So SA1 actually inflicted lacerate straight away. Really good stuff. The team boost is gone, but it just came back. And we're not even using the summon here. At this point, you can basically use the summon whenever you want to. I guess if you really want to, save it for the final boss, since it does apply weakened defense. We're going to keep our distance, though, because we just don't want to take any damage. Make sure we use the SA2. Until we know... Okay, we took some damage anyway, it's fine. And then boom, we'll stop them here. And let Ruroka do most of the damage, but we can do some damage ourselves. It is getting closer than it should be, but then again, I did take some damage, so... Probably do save your Sublime for this extra stage if you do need to beat it. Remember, when it comes to Sublime usage, always use it in the early stages. Oh, this is really close. Oh, we actually didn't even beat it. We'll try again. But when it comes to Sublime damage, use it in the early 5 waves if you are going for a super fast clay time, like we did with Ichigo. For a case like this where we maybe need the extra weakened defense, then do save it for the extra level 4. Now, to avoid a character like Tenjiro dying, again, probably give him some accessories and links so he can have some stats. We have him completely buildless, essentially, besides the Mugetsu soul trait. Maybe throw in last ditch if you really need to. And again, most importantly, just don't take damage. Don't do what we just did there. We're not going to go for a fast clear score for this one. We're just going to try and clear. So it's SA2. Into the 1. Used my SA3 there when I didn't need to, but it should be fine. SA2. Because remember, someone like Tenjiro can actually heal us back up to full stamina with his SA3 and also SA2. Let's SA2 that. And then 1. There we go. 30 seconds ago. I feel that's on the lower side, but with 40 seconds, 10 seconds each boss, maybe we can still do it. SA1. Back up. SA2. The boost is eventually going to wear off, and that's when it slows down a tad bit. But as long as we can keep inflicting lacerate... Oh, damn, the run's almost over. We might have to restart and come back to the extra stage. Because we already took damage. Not looking too good. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe we can keep Tenjiro alive. And sometimes Tenjiro can inflict the Starsman, and that might ruin the run. Because in this case, we don't have Starsman plus. But to be fair, it does keep the enemy in place. So it's not too bad. But yeah, us taking damage is no good. Let's restart once more. Alright, so we're entering the extra stage with 46 seconds remaining. Doing pretty better compared to the last run. Again, we just need to make sure we don't take damage. So, if anything, we can just let the Vortex do the job. I mean, we got a stars proc there, so we know we inflicted a stars on it. It's kind of hard to keep track. If anything, if you are struggling with that, maybe turn down the settings to maybe have less visual effects. Mostly when it comes to the side characters, because they can sometimes obstruct the screen, you know. Is this the final boss? I think it is, yeah, because that was the second candidate. So we might as well sub bomb, get the guarantee proc. SA2 right now. Eventually we'll get a stars proc, so we got it instantly back. SA3 and then SA1. So yeah, pretty easy when you don't take damage. And if you did need that additional normal attack damage support, you can always replace Tanjiro for a character like Rimjow, and you should be able to clear just fine. And again, you can do this exact team with also Ichigo too. As long as you're using Ichigo or Ishin, you should be having a good time, and a better time if you are using Ichigo. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the Melee Quincy Guild quests. Let me know what characters and teams you'd like to use in the console. What score did you get? And I'll see you next time. Take care and peace.